Welcome, cricket fans of America. This is your game, the 2025 Minor League Cricket Championships. Last night at Church Street Park, the Baltimore Royals and Orlando Galaxy got our whirlwind of a campaign underway. And over the next 29 days, a further 129 matches will be played throughout the country. This one just the second here in the West. And it features the Seattle Thunderbolts and the LA Lashings. Lashings have won the toss, elected to bat first today. And so it'll be Shadley van Schalkwijk bowling first for the men in pink. And he faces off with Zahid Zakil and Kirsten Kalicharan. Zakil, a new face to LA, but an old face here, and a welcome return to the West as he faces the second delivery. Edged and gone! Shadley van Schalkwijk strikes on his second delivery. And the Thunderbolts into their work right out of the gate. Zahid Zakil, we hardly knew ye. Gone on a two-ball duck. What a delivery from Shadley van Schalkwijk there. And we had the best view in the house from our commentary position. Currently at long on for a lefty batter. As we saw the slip in place here for the Seattle Thunderbolts and taken. A little bit of catching practice there as Shadley got that one to angle across the lefty Zakil. And that is all she wrote there. So welcome to the game. Right into it. No breaks whatsoever. Shadley van Schalkwijk retiring Zakil. And it'll be Ajayveer Hundal in on debut here in minor league cricket. Shadley picking up right where he left off from his work in minor league cricket, where he was the leading domestic wicket taker in 2024, 14 wickets at just 26.1 per. Striking roughly every 15 balls. It takes him 2 to get one here in his return after a year away from minor league. First delivery to Hundal. Batted straight back and halfway through a potential wicket maiden here is Shadley van Schalkwijk to start things off. A lot of new faces in the lineup for the purple and gold. Hundal, one of them. Zakil, we saw earlier. Kirsten Kalicharan, yet to face a delivery with the 99 on his back. He's not new. He's been here for the last 2 seasons as that one cuts across. Holds that within the tram lines and another dot for Shadley. But a whopping 8 new faces in the LA Lashings lineup, 4 of them on MILC debut. Ajayveer here, as well as Aryan Chowdhury, Mayank Raghav, and Ishak Zazai. Kirsten Elmore Hutchinson and Abby Singh, the only particularly familiar faces, although Guy and Fernando, who we'll see later on, as that is popped up and it's going to be a caught and bowled as well. 2 wickets in the over for Shadley van Schalkwijk. And he takes out the 2 debutantes here for LA in a very rough start for the SoCal men. A little bit of motion through the air, a bit of in-swing, and that one gets right off the heel of the bat. And all Ajayveer Hundal can hope is that it finds its way to the ground before Shadley nestles his hands under it. Two wickets down before a run comes across. 2-ball duck for Zakil, a 3-ball duck now for Hundal. And LA Lashings in a world of hurt to start things here in Santa Clara. I haven't even had the chance to tell you where we are just yet. We are at the Santa Clara Cricket Club. 2 games going on in the West concurrently right now, and later on, as we hit our second innings, there will be a 3rd game that gets underway. Up the road in Morgan Hill, the East Bay Blazers have just begun their defense of a target of 200 against the San Diego Surf Riders as they open their 2nd year running of defending their title here in the Western Division. Of course, East Bay Blazers, last year's MILC runners-up. Seattle Thunderbolts off to a screaming start as they look to better their division runner-up status from last season. Shadley has taken 2 in the over. He will face off for the final delivery of this eventful first over with Mayank Raghav, 37-year-old from Manipur. Opens in first-class cricket. Here he comes in at 4. But he will do so in over number 1, looking for the double wicket maiden. He's hit the pads, and it's going to be a triple wicket maiden! Shadley van Skalkvik on fire in his return to MILC. Took 10 wickets in 2023, was away on international duty all of last season, comes back and has 3 off his first 6 balls. What a start! And he'll be on a hat trick when he bowls his next one. Oh my word, outswing followed by a little nip inward. As I was watching that on the replay, my first concern was, did that actually impact outside leg? But the little nip inside takes care of that, and Mayank Raghav, his debut here in minor league cricket, ends with a golden duck. 1 over gone. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. No, we're not scoring it like Australians. None for 3. After a front row seat to all the carnage, Kirsten Kalicharan will at long last face his first delivery of today's encounter, and he will face it coming from the right hand of Matt Hennig, 27-year-old. Very late add to the roster, an Australian who plays his cricket with St Kilda. Featured for Melbourne Renegades Academy in the top-end T20 last year. Impressive feat of coming in 12th in wickets despite playing only half the games. Had the 6th best strike rate in that competition. Chicago Kingsmen were in that this past season. He gets ready for his first delivery in minor league cricket. A little bit of outswing on that one, a little shape, and it remains 7 now consecutive dots to start the encounter as Kalicharan lets that one go by. Matt Hennig bowling from the schoolhouse end of this ground. You see that schoolhouse there in the background of our live shot. Shadley was tearing things up from the Homestead Road end. LA Lashings still looking to get off the mark. Kalicharan lets that one go by as it buzzes the stumps. Not uncommon for Kalicharan to get off to a little bit of a slow start. He does have a 30.6 average, but a 105 strike rate. Very steady batter, somebody who likes to stick around as an opener. In the future, I look forward to seeing him and Zakil partnering up. Another dot, and right now, purple and gold just not able to size up anything coming out of the hands of either bowler from the Thunderbolts. Worth noting, though, that Kirsten Kalicharan out only once in his entire MILC career, dating back the last 2 seasons, inside the first 10 balls of an innings. That one right at the shoes. He'll work that off the pads. Not able to respond quickly enough was the man at the other end. That's Amer Hamza Hotak. Into MILC action for the first time since 2023 with Lone Star Athletic. He's at the non-strikers end right now with the number 4. Hamza was on the roster of the Silicon Valley Strikers last season. Did not feature. Hennig 4 dots to start his career here in MILC, and he's ready to steam in again to the Canadian. Swing and a miss. Tough to tell at this point if we're just dealing with a pitch playing havoc or just that good of bowling at the moment here from the Seattle opening pair. Seattle 6-2 last season to earn their second playoff trip in franchise history. Hennig, one of the few new pieces in this lineup for match number 1 as he aborts the run-up. And the only other new names to the team today, Lahiru Milanta, who has also returned after a year away from the Western Division. Also a former Silicon Valley Striker opener. And youngster Ritish Mohindru. 8 new faces for LA, 8 well-known faces for Seattle. At long last, off the mark, the LA Lashings will pick up that first run. It will just be the one as it holds up in the grass. Kalacharan underway, LA at long last underway. 1 for 3 through 2. Shadley van Skalkvik continues from the Homestead Road end, and as a reminder, not only does he have a triple wicket maiden already under his belt to begin the encounter, he's also now sitting on a hat trick, and there have been 9 of those in MILC history. But just 1 since the last time Shadley wore the pink and blue of the Seattle Thunderbolts in 2023. Gajanan Singh, the only one to pick up 1 of those in the 2024 campaign. There have been 3 in the West Division. Shadley's had front row seats to 2 of them. Hat trick ball. Bashed into the ground. We will not have our 10th. And a single there as Kalacharan picks up his second run of the day. And we'll get our first look at Ahmed Hamza Hotak. In 2023, faced 12 deliveries, scored 17 runs for LSA. That one comes up on the splice of the bat. Guided to the offside, no run there. Ahmed Hamza still looking for his first innings over 5 balls in MILC. For the sake of the Lashings trying to build a total, they're going to need something from him today. Sprayed to the offside. They'll look to take the quick run. Throw is wild. Backed up, though, by Rahul Nama. Or correction, Rishabh Mohan under the sun hat. It'll just be the single. And Hotak underway. Ahmed Hamza Hotak's brother, Kamran, did feature last season for Silicon Valley Strikers. You'll be able to get a look at the men in two-tone blue later on today. They kick off at 3 p.m. in their matchup with the San Ramon Grizzlies. Pounded into the ground and through the infield. Kalacharan picks up another single. Not an uncommon thing to need an over or 2 to size up the bowlers and size up the behavior of the pitch. Lashings had a chance to practice on this pitch last night. Likely would have expected that they were going to have a little more familiarity, a little more comfort with it than they've had so far. That one rises up. You can see Ahmed Hamza just trying to understand the demon that led that one to pop up above the splice of his bat. Glad not to have made contact, I'd imagine, with Ian Dev Chauhan now having moved up behind the stumps, even with the pace of Shadley van Schalkwyk. Last ball of the over, defended. And the Lashings will live to fight another day. 3 overs gone. LA 4 for the loss of 3. Matt Hennig will continue from the schoolhouse end, and a correction, and thanks to the Thunderbolts staff here, it is Lahiro Milanta wearing the gloves today rather than Ian Dev Chauhan. Same sort of thing that happened when he came to Silicon Valley, as for certain games he displaced Rahul Jariwala, who had been a bit of a fixture to that point. First delivery of over number 4 from Hennig, just evading the outer edge of Kirsten Kalicharan's bat. Of course, Ian Dev in his second year here as Seattle Thunderbolts captain, has plenty to keep his mind on, so see him there at slip, just to the side of Lahiru. That one goes back behind the legs, but apparently close enough, and so not given as a wide. It'll be another dot ball here for Hennig. He's given up just the 1 run so far on his 8 deliveries. That top-end T20 tournament we were discussing beforehand, played 4 of the 8 matches, took 3 wickets in 2 of them, and was not held without a wicket in any of the matches that he played. Got a little bit of notice beyond St. Kilda with that. Fended off by Kalicharan, but another dot. The pressure mounting. Thus far for LA Lashings, just 4 singles, 17 dots. Among them, 3 wickets taken. Kalicharan trying to gain some stability. Cuts that one loose through extra cover. It will not make it to the boundary. It'll be another single. It does appear with the length of the grass right now that the Lashings may have to go the aerial route if they want to get a ball to the boundary. Again targeting the pads. Again targeting leg stump. Ahmed Hamza fends it off. Just 1 off the 5 he's faced so far. A second slip in here now for the Seattle Thunderbolts. Just beside Ian Chauhan, Sheshwat Kohli. Deep protection against Amir Hapsa at backward point and backward square. A lot of room out in front. Tips that one over to the offside. Fielded at point. They will scamper back. Another one run over from Matt Hennig. Very stingy on MILC debut. LA Lashings 5 for 3. Four overs gone. If you're just joining us, the man entering your screen responsible for the carnage you see on that scorecard. Another dot ball here as Kirsten Kalicharan faces up with Shadley van Skalkvik. Shadley opened that first over going dot, wicket, dot, wicket, wicket, dismissing Zahid Zakhail, and then a pair of MILC debutantes, Ajayveer Hundal and Mayank Raghav. All of that coming before the LA Lashings were able to put a run on the board. They've only got 5 so far through 4 overs and a ball. And continuing to have to be content with survival at the moment. Mentioned before, Seattle mostly bringing back the same team as last season. The wicketkeeper, Lahiru Milanta, one of the new arrivals. He essentially replaces Ruben Clinton, not so much in the wicket-keeping department, but in the opening batter from the left side department. Targeting the stumps, and that one hoiked away. The only question was whether it would make it on the fly, and indeed it does. First boundary of the day, and Kirsten Kalicharan looking to unshackle himself and get LA Lashings on the move. We'll get a look at the first loose delivery we've seen from Shadley, a little bit on the full side, and Kalicharan tees it up and drills it to mid-wicket. Back live, Shadley coming, looking for the comeback. Main concern I had looking at this roster initially was how Seattle would make up for the 30 wickets taken last year by Abhijay Mansingh and Atif Atarwala, a pair of top 15 wicket takers in MILC. That one shot just over the hands of a leaping man at point. That's going to make its way to the boundary as well, second of the over. The 6 was hit where no one was. The 4, a little dicey there. Sheshwat Kohli got airborne and almost did flag that down. Same deep protection at backward square and backward point, maybe more accurately at third. For Kirsten Kalicharan, 2 boundaries in the over. How will Shadley finish it? That one straying down the pads. That is worked back behind square, and it's got a little too much gas in the tank to be chased down over there. Another boundary. Almost reminds you of the old baseball aphorism about the third time through the lineup. Third over for Shadley van Skalkvik. Goes for a whopping 14. 2 boundaries and a maximum for Kirsten Kalicharan. LA Lashings 19 for 3 through 5. first bowling change of today's encounter, and it appears it'll be Cinchi Siegerts taking the ball from the schoolhouse end. A big over here just to work on the cosmetics of this power play, which had been dominated to this point by Shadley van Skalkvik and Matt Hennig. Just 2 runs given up off 2 overs for the Australian. And the Cape Town native, 3 wickets and 3 runs until that last over went for 14. Cinchi's first delivery worked for a single, thoughts of a second. But Rahul Nama comes screaming in at mid-wicket and will avoid that. Cinchi last year's second leading wicket taker on the team with 11 at 17.2 per. Big difference between 2023 and 24 for Cinchi Siegerts was when he bowled. Started bowling a lot at high leverage times, power play and the death overs. Only 16% of his overs came between number 7 and number 14. Good comeback there with that dot ball. Worked to the man at long on. That is where Matt Hennig has stationed himself in his first over not working from the schoolhouse end. Siegerts will be happy to be targeting right-handers. They score about 2 runs per over slower than lefties. Well, a big rip taken at that one, but it is down the leg side for a wide. First extra of today's match. Big trouble Siegerts runs into sometimes is that he is vulnerable to boundaries in the power play. Nearly 1 out of every 4 balls he bowled found its way to the rope last year with the fielding restrictions in place. Kalichadan looking to make a Nostradamus out of me, but instead picks out Abhinav Sudarshanam at backward square leg. Yeah, maybe more accurately, fine leg. Deep protection just in front of Kalichadan against Cinchi. Stationed at mid-wicket and at sweeper cover. Another dot ball here, a bit of an appeal. Fiddling for it, but does not pick up the outside edge. And Kalichadan and Ahmed Hamza will have a quick discussion. Kirsten's almost gotten himself up to a run a ball here as we approach the final delivery of the power play. Siegerts coming over the wicket with the left arm. That one worked off the pads into a vacant area behind square. 2 singles and a wide, just 3 off the final over of the power play. LA Lashings, 6 overs complete, 22 for 3. First change of bowlers at the Homestead Road end. It'll be Rahul Nama replacing Shadley van Skalkvik, who bowled 3 of his allotment of 4 inside the power play, and to great effect until those last 4 deliveries disappeared for 14 runs. All 3 wickets belonging to Shadley all coming in a triple wicket maiden first over of the 2025 campaign. Since then, Lashings have done well to stabilize. They did not lose any further wickets, although the stats about losing 3 in the power play already echoing in your mind. First delivery from Nama, good length. And Kalacharan struggling to find it. Picks up the bottom edge of the bat, could have gone anywhere. A slip in place for Rahul Nama as the fielding restrictions are lifted. Ian Dev Chauhan under the sun hat for the lefty spinner. Drifts wide of the stumps and Kalacharan lets it go. A pair of dots to start. Nama looking for a comeback after last season. Took just 2 wickets in just 13 overs last season. Was Seattle's leading wicket taker in 2023. Worked off the pads towards mid-wicket. Siegert's nice dive to keep it on the infield, but it'll be a single for Kalacharan. Pair of righties at the crease right now for LA Lashings. It's mostly what Nama faced last season. 83% of the balls he delivered against right-handers. That one's airborne, but it's going to land safely in front of the fielder at backward square. Just the 3rd run so far for Ahmed Hamza as LA will look to up the pace against the next line of Seattle bowlers. Swing and a miss, nestles into the gloves of Lahiru Milanta, but without a touch from Kirsten. Captains love it when you work this quickly here. In fact, perhaps rushing things, Kirsten asks for a moment, steps away. A pink jersey was moving in the sight screen area. Steps across and makes contact. Puts that out to the covers, and that will be a single to finish and an overthrow as well. Kalacharan will end up taking a second off the misfield, or the missed throw, rather. So it'll be 4 off of Rahul Nama's first. LA Lashings 26 for 3 through 7. Sujit Nayak will take the ball now from the schoolhouse end. So that'll be double barrel lefty spin coming from both sides. Generally something that Kirsten Kalacharan navigates well. Last season, 106 runs off of 97 balls faced against lefty pacers and lefty spinners. Only lost his wicket twice in those 97 balls, so when he sees a southpaw, his eyes light up. For the time being, though, he's going to be relegated to spectator as Ahmed Hamza will face the first delivery from Sujit. A lot of purchase off the surface on that one. That ball looked like it was targeting the stumps and spun its way to about a 5th stump line by the time Ahmed Hamza made contact. Slip continues to be in place as Ian Chauhan will adjust the field. Move square leg to a slightly more backward position. Ahmed Hamza will work that just to the side of the slip. Siegert's in position, though. Pair of dots to start for Sujit Nayak. That one comes up on the body, and Hotak will move that to a vacant area just behind square leg. A single, and that'll bring Kalichadan on strike. Kirsten, a very steady presence last season against spin. I like to track balls per dismissal. On average, takes 38 balls worth of spin to get rid of Kirsten. We do, of course, have results coming from down the road in Morgan Hill. Mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, East Bay Blazers protecting a target of 200 against San Diego Surfriders. They're at 54 for 1 through 8. They've done well to maintain their wickets, but they will need to up the tempo a little bit. They're already at the point of needing better than 2 runs a ball from here to the finish. Single off that one for Kalichadan. Amir Hamza will face the final delivery of this 8th over. He defends that, just 2 off the frame. LA Lashings still trying to get themselves into second gear. As we mentioned, they've done well to survive. 7 overs this partnership has gone, but it's only added 28 runs to what was a 0 total when Amir Hamza came in. 28 for 3 through 8. Rahul Nama will stay on from the Homestead Road end. Second of 3 Western Division games today here in 2025 minor league cricket as the left coast gets things underway. First delivery from Nama, that one spins, takes the outer edge, and I believe that is a drop for Lahira Milanta. Good bit of purchase there. We'll see what we got. Ooh, yeah, a lot of motion. That may not have even taken the edge. That might have moved enough to avoid that. Second delivery. Also tough to handle for Kalichadan. Ends up to Chauhan at slip on a hop. Deep protection mostly in front of Kalichadan. He does have a deep, fine leg in place against him. Otherwise, mid-wicket, deep point, long on and long off, and it's long off in play here. Matt Hennig drifting underneath, and it's going to get past him. Arguably, Kalichadan may have been dropped now twice in the over. He goes to the other end. Happy to survive another moment. Hennig got himself in position, but was always leaning just a little bit. Unable to squeeze the palms around it. And another one that moves just barely past that outside edge, this time on Amir Hamza. Bowling masterclass so far here by the Seattle Thunderbolts. Nama has very nearly taken a wicket on 3 deliveries out of the first 4. Swing and a miss on that one. That one defended as Nama targeted the stumps. Getting a lot of talk out of that surface right now is Rahul Nama. Very nearly paid off on a few occasions. Just 1 from the 9th, 29 for 3. The double barrel left arm spin will continue. Sujit Nayak, second over from the schoolhouse end. He gave up 2 off his first. First delivery work to the right side. No run there. Just 7 runs off the last 19 balls. That coming on the heels of the 14 in the span of 4 to finish off the power play. Looking to cut loose, Kirsten Kalichadan, stand and deliver. Absolutely hammered to cow corner. Seven runs off 19 deliveries, and then 6 off of a single. Ball here out of the hand of Sujit Nayak. Looking for the comeback delivery. That'll be pounded to the offside. No run available there. Nayak doing what he did last season in MILC as a bowler. 93 dot balls, ranked 15th most in MILC. That one worked just wide. The man on the inner circle at backward point. Kalichadan will look to hold on to the strike as he and Ahmed Hamza take a pair. 4 boundaries for LA Lashings in total, all hit by Kirsten Kalichadan. 2 on the ground, 2 in the air. Looking to continue to up the pace. That one is just going to be worked toward mid-wicket. Thought about trying to take the quick single, thought better of it. And a dot to finish. We reach the halfway point of the innings. Lashings have managed to avoid losing any further wickets after the Shadley van Schalkwyk flurry to start. But just 37 runs to show for it. They need to pick up the pace if that run chase is going to last. 37 for 3. Brief hydration break here at the halfway point. Today, a rather comfortable afternoon here in Santa Clara. The temperatures in the mid-70s as we got underway, expected to reach into the low to mid-80s by the time this match comes to an end. Far cry from what we're likely to experience the next 3 days up in Davis, California, where temperatures will most assuredly be in the 90s. Take the opportunity here as Rahul Nama will be continuing for his third over on the trot from the Homestead Road end. In fact, just one change of bowlers at this end was when Nama took over for Shadley van Skalkvik at the end of the power play, as this one's worked to the backward point region. No run there. We'll give you a quick window as they reach the halfway point of the run chase over in Morgan Hill. San Diego Surfriders now 74 for one. Run rate required has reached 13s, but they do have a lot of wickets to play with as a quick single is run here on that ball. Ahmed Hamza getting off strike and trying to feed Kirsten Kalicharan, who is beginning to see the ball a little better off these lefty spinners. Mentioned earlier, there had not been a boundary since the 3 he hit in 4 balls against Van Skalkvik until that monster 6 over Cow Corner in the last over against Nayak. Look to see if he can get to Nama, who so far has given up just 6 runs off his 14 deliveries. Through a gap on the offside. That'll be a single. That East Bay Blazers game, an interesting one, as Blazers looked to be in slightly rough shape early in that encounter. That one worked towards a square leg. Looking to keep the strike rotating. A bit of an issue last season for the LA Lashings, and sometimes an issue specifically for Kirsten Kalicharan. Strike rate last season dropped to 88 in the middle overs. Although to be fair right now, LA would kill for 88. Trying to avoid the pressure that has been building. 4 straight singles off of Nama, who had given up just 5 runs off 2 overs before that. Tough one to navigate, but Amir Hamza does get himself a single there. So 5 off of number 5 here in over number 11. LA Lashings make it 42 for the loss of 3 here through 11 overs. And we'll keep the chat right here. Talking a little bit about, again, that East Bay San Diego game going on up the road in Morgan Hill. East Bay were 50 for 4 through 7 overs of that first innings. Kind of a surprising mini collapse of the top order. Sujit Gowda was gone for a run. Debutant Hizbullah Durrani gone for 5. Sanjay Krishnamurthy just 7. Angelo Pereira 14. But it was Saideep Ganesh, after a very difficult season last year, who stormed in. We're back to pace at this end. It'll be Sinchi Siegerts working from the schoolhouse end. First delivery from him to Ahmed Hamza Hotak, worked away for a single. But Saideep Ganesh picking up 111 runs, not out, including a 103-run partnership with Abhishek Paradkar, who was dismissed 3 runs shy of a maiden half-century with the bat in hand. And that was enough to carry what looked like a pretty desperate innings all the way to 199 for 5. LA Lashings have done the conserve wickets after an early flurry part. No, they haven't. There it goes. They did for a while, but Sinchi Siegerts squares up Kirsten Kalicharan, and his innings will come to an end on 34 runs. And that is about as plumb as you like. Could not get the bat down quite in time. Sinchi Siegerts, I believe, going a little pace off on that one. And that breaks a 43-run partnership that had lasted just over half the innings. As a commentator, you're always looking for Nelsons. Well, 11.1 is how many overs had been bowled at that point. That would have seemed to be the one that condemns Kalicharan to the shed, and it'll be Achilles Brown on Lashings' debut. Coming out now to partner Amir Hamza Hotak. So Sinchi getting in on the act. Dismisses the man responsible for all but 9 of the runs currently on the board for the LA Lashings. For Sinchi, a rare wicket in the middle overs. Last season, 9 of his 11 came at the death, despite him only bowling half of his overs at the death. Today, a little unusually responsible for taking out the remaining opener. So Achilles Brown, the 20-year-old from Philadelphia, faces his first delivery out here on the West Coast, and it's worked to a diving defender in the covers. Nicely played out there to keep it on the infield. No runs off the bat so far in this second over for Sinchi Siegerts. Just a leg by, a wicket and a dot now. Gave up 3, 2 singles and a wide in his first over of work. That from the schoolhouse end as well. Defended into the ground, another dot ball. Siegert's 7.36 economy last season, nothing to sneeze at on its own, but it was 6.05 before the playoffs. Took a bit of tap in the Super 8s. Brown trying to turn that one around the corner to no avail. Achilles with 35 career MILC runs with bat in hand, but a strike rate of just 58. Last year batted just once, 6 off 10 against the Baltimore Royals. As Nate Hayes mentioned on the broadcast last night, a name that both of us have to say very slowly so it doesn't come out like our hometown baseball team. Brown defends again, and it's the second wicket maiden of today's encounter. Shadley van Skalkovic, of course, with a 3-wicket maiden. But Siegert's just the leg by to go along with a wicket and 4 further dots. LA Lashings 43 for 4 through 12. Looks as though Ian Dev Chauhan is going to save one more over of Rahul Nama for a bit later in the piece. For the time being, it'll be Ritish Mohindru bowling for the first time here in MILC. Very much pace off as maybe a bit of a slip out of the hand from the leggy. Almost bounced twice on its way in there before it got to the gloves of Milanta. A dot ball nonetheless. A lot more flight on that, both before it lands and after it does. Amir Hamza Hotak able to work that one out into the cow corner region. It's a direct hit from all the way out there by Rishabh Mohan, but well in was Amir Hamza. He picks up a 2. Left in the shed right now as they do a little bit of furniture repair over at the wicketkeeper's end. left in the shed at the moment for LA Lashings. Ishak Zazai we've yet to see out here. Aryan Chowdhury, lefty power bat, 17-year-old. And of course, reliable Elmore Hutchinson. That one is worked just past the gloves of Lahiru Milantha. Ahmed Hamza says a quick novena. Just did avoid potentially guiding that one into the gloves. Hamza first, besides Kalacharan, into double figures for the men in purple and gold. Achilles Brown now looking to get off the mark. He faced 4 dot balls after the dismissal of Kalacharan in the last over. We see the pads right now on Elmore Hutchinson. I think an effort likely to avoid bringing him in too soon. Achilles Brown, a bit rough on the footwork there as he started trying to make a little bit of room for himself and then realized he needed to reach out to touch that one. Off balance contact and nothing there. Good line and length there as Mahindra targeting center stump and then picking up just a little bit of that leg spin. Nice bit of top spin on that one as well, it looked like. Flighted, work to the right side. Brown wants that first run. He comes way down the pitch, has to scurry back as Sujit Nayak throws it to the wicketkeeper. So far, none off his first 7 deliveries here as a lashing. LA Lashings 46 for 4 through 13. Continuing to check in on action in Morgan Hill here in the Western Division. Surf Riders have gotten past the 100 mark. They've brought it back down to exactly 2 runs a ball required. As that one's down the leg side from Sinchi Siegerts. Second wide of the encounter, both bowled by Sinchi, in fact. They've made it to 106 for 2. They need exactly 2 runs a ball, the Surf Riders do. They have lost the wicket and the lengthy partnership that had been going on there as that one's worked to the offside for no run. Did just now, though, lose the wicket, did San Diego of Skandar Rohit Sharma on 28 from 28, but it's Shehan Fernando on MILC debut with 61 off 30 and still ticking over, looking to partner Abhi Singh over there. Ahmed Hamza works his way off strike here against Sinchi Siegerts. Siegerts so far, 2 overs completed, 3 runs off the first one, 2 singles and a wide. Second over, just a leg by, 4 dots and a wicket. That wicket breaking a lengthy but not particularly productive partnership. LA Lashings here in over number 14, still trying to bring up the 50. Won't happen on that one as Achilles Brown, they're going to ask the question of the square leg umpire as that one was a direct hit. Siegerts rushing to it off his own bowling. Brown absolutely desperate to get himself rolling here and on the score sheet. That's twice now that he's drawn the intrigue of the infield. That one hops up. Of course, the thing we'll be looking for here, for as much trouble as LA Lashings have had with bat in hand, you never know a pitch until you've seen both teams bat on it. Thunderbolts, though, have seemed to have quite a bit of discipline with their line and length today. That one worked again to the offside. Pops up for a moment on Ian Dev, but is picked up. Final delivery of the 14th. And at long last, Achilles Brown has got that first run in 2025 minor league cricket. It does take 11 deliveries to get it, but he'll get a chance to add to that when we come back. He'll be back on strike for the 15th, 49 for 4. Change of ends for Sujit Nayak. He will bowl now from the Homestead Road end. His first 2 overs from the Schoolhouse end went for a total of 10 runs. 6 of those, the second maximum of Kirsten Kalichadan's day. So far, Kalichadan, the only one to make much of a dent in this Seattle Thunderbolts attack. He provided 34 off 42 and those 2 4s and 2 6s. That one worked back behind the wicketkeeper. And Achilles Brown will pick up a second run for his total, and that does, at long last, bring up the 50 for LA Lashings. Just not been able to push the run rate at all since losing those 3 early wickets. Had a lengthy partnership. It went for more than half the innings between Amir Hamza and Kirsten Kalichadan, but it only added 43 runs. Another dot here for Sujit. That one is cranked, but it may have picked out a fielder just over the outstretched hand of the man at mid-wicket. Can't keep Sinchi Siegerts out of the action. Amir Hamza has the first non-Kalichadan boundary of the day, and it is a maximum. Going to need a lot more of that from the men in purple and gold. Back to live action, Sujit Nayak, and that one is cranked almost to the exact same spot. My goodness. Vishal, we could have gone with the replay because it was basically the same thing that was happening live. Back-to-back 6s from Amir Hamza Hotak, and just like that, he's approaching a run a ball. We'll see what we get here from the comeback delivery. That one worked to point. And he'll stay put. For those wondering, Amir Hamza, before today, a high score in minor league cricket of 11. He's now got 23. But that one is straight up, and a chance for the man with the gloves, Milantha, under it. And that'll end Amir Hamza Hotak's innings on 23 off 30. It's a common refrain in the game, boom, boom, gone. And we see it live out right here in over number 15. This time, a lot of turn from that one from Sujit Nayak. Even for as full as it was, you would have thought that would come nicely onto the bat, but it turned a good bat length and a half. And ends up straight up. Bit of a challenge in a cloudless sky. Nothing to use as reference there for Lahiru Milantha, but he's a professional. With that, the end of the 15th over. LA Lashing 62 for 5 on the other side of this break. Elmore Hutchinson comes into the encounter. Back into the attack from the schoolhouse end will be Matt Hennig. He was sterling in his first 2 overs of work in the power play, just 2 runs conceded. He'll be facing off initially here with Achilles Brown, who was off strike for the final delivery of the 15th, and the wicket of Amir Hamza. Elmore will have to wait his turn. Partnership for the 5th wicket goes for just 19 runs, that off of about 3.5 overs. LA are going to need quite the acceleration in the final 5 here as we hit the death overs if they're going to make anything of this chase. Leg side wide to start here. The man at the other end, Elmore Hutchinson, certainly somebody who you want for that job. 165 strike rate last year at the death. And hit 22% of the balls that came to him to or over the boundary. That one definitely got pad. We could hear it from here, but no interest from the umpire, who stepped out to look for a direct hit and did not wait. Barely acknowledged the appeal from Hennig. I suspect going down leg, at least the way it looked live from our position. Oh, most assuredly. Dot ball, though. Brown still on strike, 2 from 13. Big rip into the gloves of Milantha. Deep protection as we start the death overs at 3rd and at fine leg for Achilles Brown, as well as deep mid-wicket, long on, and sweeper cover. Could try to go over mid-off. But not with a line like that, he won't. But he'll get to see that one again as it whistles by his ear. Another leg side wide from Hennig. He's now conceded as many wides as he has runs off the bat today, and normally that wouldn't be a great thing to say, but when it's 2 of each through 2.5 overs, you can deal with it. That one works just to the side of Lahiru Milantha. That'll give Brown a chance to get off strike, or will it? Because he's going to come on back for a second. The misfield back behind Milantha is going to permit that to be done without any drama. Achilles doubles his tally. San Francisco Unicorns draftee into Major League Cricket. Did not get a game, though, in this past season. It's another one off the pads. We'll see if that's runs or a leg by. They're going to come back again for a pair. And the signal is that Brown did indeed get some bat on that one. Six runs so far off the first 4 from Hennig, 2 of them gifts. The other 4 coming on the last 2 deliveries. A little bit of running here. Hennig aborts the run-up. That one pushed to mid-on. There's a bit of a fielding shift, it would appear. No, never mind. It's a short mid-wicket, and the deep man all the way over here might be more accurately deep square leg. Brown yet to really try to lean on one so far. 6 off 17. Final delivery of the 16th over coming here from Matt Hennig. That one worked just past the square leg umpire. That'll be a single. And it will mean that Achilles Brown retains the strike for the first delivery coming up in a moment of over number 17. But for now, through 16, LA Lashings 69 for 5. Rahul Nama will bowl his final over of the spell again from the Homestead Road end. He and Shadley van Skalkvik have combined to hold this end down for the most part. Sujit Nayak and Ritish Mohindru, the only other bowlers to get one over apiece from this side. For Nama, just 10 runs off of his 3 overs of work, has not struck. There was one over there where it looked like he had a wicket on 3 separate occasions. We'll see if he can get one from his last. Big hoik from Brown. It's an under edge, and it will get him to the other end and give Elmore Hutchinson a look at some spin. Last season, it was pace that would largely keep Elmore quiet. 117 strike rate against pace compared to his 135 overall. He'll be happy to see a spinner. He'd be even happier to see an off spinner. Nice bit of turn there from Nama as it evades the outer edge of the bat. Dot for the first ball faced by Elmore. Big hoik, but throws the shot a little bit early. Ball work to the offside. That'll be a single, and Elmore underway with his first run. As we cast our eyes down toward Morgan Hill, where it looks like East Bay Blazers have put a stranglehold on that one. Required run rate up to 16s after the rapid-fire loss of 3 wickets. Shehan Fernando still out there, 79 off 44 on debut, but oof, that one smacked right back into the hands of Rahul Nama, but unable to secure it. If you wanted to be very uncharitable, you'd call that a drop, but absolutely stung into the hands of the lefty spinner. And again, straight back to Rahul, and not able to stop that one either. It'll be a single for Elmore Hutchinson. 4 runs off the 17th over, and Hutchie will be on strike for the 18th when we come back. Quick look here at the replay of that last ball. Or rather, I believe the ball before that, Achilles Brown. That did carry. That was not a bump ball, but a very sharp chance there. Understandable that might not stick. It either does or it doesn't. 73 for 5 through 17. Rahul Nama bowled out 14 runs off of his 4 overs without striking. Sinchi Seegerts has already got a wicket. He's only given up 6 from his 3. He'll bowl out the last of his spell here in over number 18. He's bowled all 4 of his from the schoolhouse end. First over, 2 singles and a wide. Second over, a leg by, 4 dots, and a wicket. Second maiden, and second wicket maiden for that matter, of the day. No maiden on this one, as Elmore Hutchinson's going to pick up a single off the first ball. And then again, 2 singles and a wide off of his third over of work. Single to start this one. Lashings at 74 for 5. We have seen some low-scoring thrillers here at Santa Clara Cricket Club, so not to be completely disregarded the chance that the Lashings could come out and do a little something with ball in hand, make this interesting. I recall specifically a game last season that the Silicon Valley Strikers strung out for quite a while after not breaking 100. Managed to take that one all the way to the 18th over. That one is stung right back over the head of the bowler, but doesn't quite have enough juice to make it to the boundary rope. Single off the bat of Achilles Brown, who moves into double figures. In that game in particular, the real telling thing was that the Silicon Valley Strikers in the first innings did not face the full allotment of balls, as that one's banged into the turf. They were bowled out with about 2 overs to spare, and if I recall correctly, the Blazers actually got the runs using more deliveries than the Strikers did. They just did not lose all 10 of their wickets. So Lashings have taken the strategy of trying to preserve their wickets. They've been unable to kick into turbo. Not long to do that. Elmore Hutchinson pushes that one to the deep protection at long off. LA Lashings have mostly dealt in singles today, just 6 boundary shots. 2 4s and 2 6s from Kirsten Kalacharan, most of that off of Shadley van Schalkwyk, and those 2 back-to-back Amir Hamza 6s before he departed. It'll be another single. Sterling figures of 1 for 10 from Sinchi Siegerts in his 4 overs of work. 2 overs left to try and build something defensible. 77 for 5. .12 balls left. Achilles Brown will face the first of those final 12 to be bowled from the hand of Shadley van Schalkwyk. He opened up the Homestead Road end with 3 overs on the trot in the power play, a triple wicket maiden in his first, 3 runs from his second, beaten up a little in his third. That one's in the air. We'll see if it's got enough legs. It does not appear to. Circling over and missing the catch is the man who was at long on. It was pretty much straight back over the head of Shadley van Schalkwyk. Nayak came over from long off. Sinchi Siegerts from long on. Neither one of them able to judge it effectively. It's going to be 2 runs. Shadley van Schalkwyk deprived of what would have been a 4th wicket. That one worked now towards mid-wicket. Deep protection there is Rishabh Mohan. Up with it, and now Hutchie on strike. Hard to overstate what it would do psychologically just to reach triple digits, given the way that this inning started, and for that matter, the way it continued for the bulk of it. Little off balance, but Hutchinson will be happy to see that one land in front of the man at square leg. That may have gotten pad, may have gotten bad. It was not held by the gloves of Lahiru Milanta. Whatever it got, it prevents the leg side wide. And no run there. Pace off, and Achilles Brown does well to guide that to a vacant area. A single there, and Elmore will face Shadley's final delivery of this encounter. The exception of 3 balls of the last 4 in his third over, last one of the power play that he bowled. Van Schalkwyk has been borderline unhittable today. Goes off pace, and Hutchinson throws that shot way too early. A dot ball to finish the 19th. LA Lashings 82 for 5, 6 balls remaining. We'll see who bowls them on the other side of a break. It'll be Matt Hennig to take the final over from the schoolhouse end. He's gone for just 9 runs in his first 3 overs of work. LA Lashings, if they want that psychological boost, are going to have to go boom boom here. Plenty of wickets in hand. It's just a question of whether they can square it up. They will have Achilles Brown on strike to face the first delivery. Over in Morgan Hill, by the way, Surf Riders now 8 down with 3 overs remaining. They would require 66 runs from the final 18 balls. Shehan Fernando caught behind Abhishek Paradkar, dismissing him on 79 runs. Quite a debut for the Sri Lankan. Over here, that one gets through the gloves of Lahiru Milanta, and that will allow Achilles Brown to take the bye. That puts Hutchie on strike here at 83 for 5. Down the road in Morgan Hill, 3-wicket hauls for both Sanjay Krishnamurthy and Abhishek Paradkar. And still 2 more wickets to go out and hunt. Paradkar with 1 more over potentially to bowl. Over here, Hennig looking to limit the total to chase, and he's done that exactly here by dismissing Elmore Hutchinson bowled. Maiden wicket for Matt Hennig. May have been a little pace off. We've seen Elmore throwing the shots a little on the early side today, but straight as an arrow right at leg stump. And that is all for Hutchie. He departs with 5 off 10. New batter entering here will be the number 77, that is Ishak Zazai. 22-year-old wicketkeeper from Afghanistan. Try and get a look at the logo on that helmet. One of the fun things about MILC is you do see a vast variety of helmets. Zazai will tap that right back to Hennig. Chance for a run out back at his end, but he misses the stumps trying to beat Achilles Brown and his scamper back. Achilles has had his share of adventures. Took him 9 balls to get off the mark. And on the last few of those, he was committing himself way down the pitch before realizing it wasn't there. Picks up the pace there. They're going to go for the run out. The throw from Lahiru Milantha wide of the stumps. And a first MILC run for yet another one of the debutantes. Haven't seen Aryan Chowdhury bat today. Jaivir Hundal was gone with a duck, as was Mayank Raghav. Looking for the reverse scoop. That's tasty. Might pick out a fielder. It's going to fall short of Cincy Siegerts. They think about coming back for a second. Achilles Brown, again, had made his way quite a bit down the pitch. Looking for that second, but it'll be Ishak to face the final delivery of this first innings. Partnerships of 43, 19, and 21 after the dismissals of the 3 of the first 4 batters on ducks. Lashings managed to stop the bleeding. They never quite got themselves into turbo, though. Looking to cut loose, here will be Ishak. But a brilliant Yorker there from Matt Hennig. It'll just be a single to finish. And that will end this first innings. LA Lashings 86 for the loss of 6. And it's not going to be pretty reading when we take a look here at the batting card for innings number 1. As we mentioned, it began with 3 ducks right out of the gate. Zahid Zakil gone on the second delivery of the innings. Javier Hundal on debut, caught and bowled by Shadley van Skalkvik after facing 3. And then on the very next delivery, Mayank Raghav gone LBW. As van Skalkvik started the innings with a triple wicket maiden. After that, it was a 43-run partnership between the 2 high scorers on the day. Kirsten Kalicharan at 34 off 42. Ahmed Hamza Hotak, 23 off 30. They would be the only ones to hit any boundary shots in the first innings. 4 from Kirsten Kalicharan, 2 of the maximums, and a pair of 6s from Amir Hamza. The bowling card for the men in pink, a great deal happier reading. Shadley van Skalkvik, those 3 quick wickets at the start. He and Sujit Nayak the only ones to take just a little bit of tap, as van Skalkvik goes at a little under a run a ball. Sujit Nayak, 23 runs off of his 3. Though he did manage to dismiss Amir Hamza and really end any hope of adding to that total. Very economical work from Cincy Siegerts, who also took the wicket of Kirsten Kalicharan. Just 10 runs off of his 4, just 14 off the 4 from Rahul Nama. And Matt Hennig, 1 for 11 as he gets the wicket down the stretch of Elmore Hutchinson to cap a lovely debut for the Aussie. So the target will be 88 when we come back here from Santa Clara Cricket Club for Seattle Thunderbolts to start their 2025 campaign in victorious fashion. We'll be back in about 15 minutes here with that. Welcome back to Santa Clara Cricket Club. Coverage here on the MLC network of 2025 minor league cricket opening day here in the Western Division. One game already concluded down in Morgan Hill as the East Bay Blazers have begun their Western Division title defense with a 57-run win over the San Diego Surf Riders. We'll tell you a little more about that as things go along. But here we've got a lot of business to attend to. It's a target of 88 set by the LA Lashings for the Seattle Thunderbolts. Last season, these two teams split their two meetings. Seattle winning by 11, LA winning by 16. In both cases, it was the team that batted first that came through. If that's going to continue, it's going to be one heck of a bowling effort necessary from the LA Lashings. They've certainly got a good person up front to try to keep it tight and take wickets in Guyan Fernando. The prodigal son bowls his first ball for the Lashings in 3 years, and it's a dot to get started here against opening batter Ian Dev Chauhan. Starting here from the Homestead Road end is Guyan Fernando. MILC's leading wicket taker 2 seasons ago for San Diego. A little bit of a down year in 24. And another dot. The captain, Ian Dev Chauhan, on strike to start. He's partnered by Abhinav Sudarshanam at the other end. A righty-lefty pairing. Experience and youth. Again, bowling a disciplined line. Guyan Fernando yet to concede anything here. Last season, even with a little bit of a fall off in production, with just the 8 wickets, compared to the season before when he took 25 at 8.84 wickets per, or runs per, rather. Still was in the top 20 in dot balls bowled and bowled to a 5.32 economy in the power play. That's where he took 6 of his 8 wickets. This, on the other hand, is targeting the comms area and is going to hit the trees just to our right. An early signal from Ian Dev Chauhan. This could go one of 2 ways. We may see a very rapid attempt to chase this and see what they can do about staking themselves to a high net run rate early, as you see that shot beautifully thrown over the top of long off. Follow-up delivery is targeting the pads, poked just to the right side. Out comes Ishak Zazai, MILC debutant with the gloves. Ian Dev last year almost guaranteed to get you a score over 20. 7 times last season over 20, but only twice over 30 and just once over 40. Kind of knew what you were going to get from him. Final delivery of the over. And it's 5 dots on either side of a massive 6 over long off for Ian Dev Chauhan. Seattle Thunderbolts 6 for no loss through 1. Lefty spin immediately in the form of Amir Hamza Hotak. He will bowl the first over of the encounter from the schoolhouse end. And he'll be facing off with Abhinav Sudarshanam, the 20-year-old lefty. Sudarshanam, 98 runs last season at a strike rate of 118. Generally a faster and, for that matter, steadier player inside the power play than he was in the middle overs, so he'll look to do his damage up front. Last season, it was righty pace that he largely smashed at a 142 strike rate. Everything else right around a run a ball. Of course, a run a ball will get the job done handily here. LA Lashings are going to need to take some wickets. Ahmed Hamza there with his first delivery since 2023 here in MILC when he was with the Lone Star Athletics. It's a dot ball to start against Abhinav. A little bit quicker on that second delivery from Ahmed Hamza. Another dot ball as it's worked straight to the fielder. Deep protection for Sudarshanam, located at long on. That one is going to go just behind the wicketkeeper. Mayank Raghav playing slip, and they've actually got Zahid Zakhail at a leg slip against Sudarshanam. We'll see if he stays put. A bye there, as no bat involved in working that ball back behind and between Mayank Raghav and Ishak Zazai. Deep protection changes up here for Chauhan, but it's only because, well, one of them stays still but becomes long off instead of long on. Otherwise, they maintain a deep square leg, but it's all the way on the other side of the field now with the righty-lefty swap. Work to the man at point, Guyan Fernando, nothing there. Another dot delivery here, a tight first over so far for Ahmed Hamza. Generally a slightly better economy against lefty batters, but takes most of his wickets against right-handers, as that one is going to get just under the dive of Achilles Brown. I'll be thinking about a second. The throw will come to the wicketkeeper's end, but too late and not quite on target. First run off the bat against Hotak. Hamza over the wicket, speeds things along, and that one rolled straight to the man at cover. A bye, a single, and 4 dots. Good tight work so far from the LA Lashings attack through 2 overs, 8 for no loss. We'll keep the chat here and review the first completed game here in the Western Division, and East Bay Blazers winning that by 57 runs. That despite a 50-for-4 start through 7 overs of their first innings. They managed to push to a total just shy of 200 through a 111 off 53, Saideep Ganesh's maiden 100. That part of a 103-run partnership with Abhishek Paradkar, who also had his high score in minor league cricket with 47 off 31. But Paradkar's day was not done. I'll tell you in a moment here as Guyan Fernando continues from the Homestead Road end. Looking for his first run. That might have been a chance at a run out, but not cleanly fielded by the streaking Ahmed Hamza. So a single to start. And in the run chase, Shehan Fernando, 79 off 45 to make it interesting for about 13 overs. But when San Diego started losing wickets, well, they just kept losing wickets and wound up bowled out for 142. And half of those wickets fell to Abhishek Paradkar. And in doing so, he becomes just the 4th MILC bowler, joining Pranay Suri, Sarvjit Ladda, and Usman Rafiq, to claim a second MILC fifer. So congratulations to him. Guyan Fernando is going to have to pull out here as Abhinav was not ready as Guyan started his run-up. especially given the pace from the 37-year-old from Colombo. It's got to be an unsettling thing to look up and seeing him already bearing down on you. Nice diving grab by Mayank Raghav. Not every day you see a gully in T20. But a slip and a gully in here against, or in support rather, of Guy and Fernando. Jumping attempt to play that to the offside. Does look an awful lot like that ball is hurrying up on Abhinav Sudarshanam. Footwork a little erratic. If you're the LA Lashings, you're kind of breaking this defense into bits. How long can you survive and keep this looking challenging for the Thunderbolts? Another dot here from Fernando. We heard from one of the Seattle Thunderbolts executives how happy they were with the bowling effort in the first innings. They said any target in the vicinity of 110, 120 would have looked really challenging on this wicket. That one worked right past the stumps. Again, active on the defensive end is Ahmed Hamza. So far through 17 deliveries, just 3 scoring shots for the Thunderbolts. 2 Chauhan singles, and that 6 that he hit against Guyan in the first over. And Abhinav at the end of that over feeling an awful lot like Achilles Brown did earlier today. Just cannot seem to get off the mark. 9 deliveries he's faced without scoring yet. Seattle, 9 for no loss through 3. Ahmed Hamza Hotak's going to continue from the schoolhouse end, and why not? Three dots, one of them a bye against Sudarshanam in his first over. 1 single and 3 deliveries against Chauhan. The appeal for the stumping is going to be falling on deaf ears here for Ganesh Sanup at this end. He's partnered, by the way, by Suyog Patil at the far end. I should say, at least as you're seeing it right now, the current umpire behind the stumps being Suyog Patil, the one headed back to square leg after repairing the woodwork, Ganesh Sanup. Over here on our technical end, Vishal Tiku at the controls. For Crick Live Productions, my name is Joe Hickey. I can't remember if I've bothered to introduce myself over the first 2 hours, but there it is. Another ball picking up some legitimate purchase off the Santa Clara pitch. Nice bit of fielding there by Guy and Fernando. That ball took a funky hop on him up to the height of his left shoulder. Able to flag it down. This time, Ian Dev Chauhan will split the gap between Fernando and Hutchinson. Roughly 80 years of cricketing expertise chasing that ball and limiting Chauhan to just a 2. That'll keep him on strike to face Hotak's final ball here in over number 4. That one's airborne, and it's going to be wide of Mayank Raghav, who'd moved out of that gully position. And so a pair of pairs. 4 runs off the last 2 deliveries of the over, and Seattle through 4, 13 for no loss. Time for our first look at the 6'6" native of Westmoreland, Jamaica, and longtime USA international Elmore Hutchinson. Just recently turned 43 years old about 2.5 weeks ago, but continues to steam in with that lefty pace. Last season, 7 wickets at 29 per. The only major issue he had in the power play, the thing that drove up his economy, was an issue with wides. We'll be looking for him to find his radar quickly here and challenge Abhinav Sudarshanam, who now makes it to 10 deliveries without having broken his duck just yet. It is notable that most of his wides last season, and he did bowl 37 of them to lead MILC, all but 2 of them came against righty batters. So he'll be a lot more comfortable here with Abhinav Sudarshanam at the crease. Thought he might have gotten a tickle to that. Well, that was a commentator curse. First wide of the season here for Elmore. Likes to bowl into the pads, likes to cramp you for space, but of course that's something that can easily go awry. That one looks like it hit maybe a slight dead spot in the pitch. Abhinav was leaping as if he thought he was going to have to ride some steepling bounce on that, and it winds up under the bat. Solidly struck, but straight to Guyan Fernando. 3 dots to go along with the wide. Deep protection against Abhinav Sudarshanam. Currently located at 3rd and square leg. Pretty standard field. He does have the slip in place. I think Abhimanyu Rajap wants that single, and just like we saw with Achilles Brown earlier, is going to start to run out there a little aggressively, trying to get himself off strikes, trying to get that first run. 13 balls faced without scoring now for Abhi. Good tight first over here in the power play for Elmore Hutchinson as the first change bowler. Deep protection now moves to long on as Guyan Fernando pushes back. to the boundary rope. Third man inside the circle. Tap to the covers. Scooped up there by Kirsten Kalicharan. Elmore, a wide shy of a maiden at this point here, looking to finish the over in style. This one will at long last get Abhinav Sudarshanam off the mark. A single for him. Seattle 15 for no loss through 5. Don't look now. Lashings were 19 for 3 at this point. Sudarshanam will retain the strike when we come back for the last over of the power play. With the lefty Abhinav Sudarshanam on strike, it's going to be the off-spinner Abhimanyu Rajap taking the ball now from the schoolhouse end. Pressure has been applied by Elmore Hutchinson, by Amir Hamza Hotak, by Gayan Fernando. At the moment, they have Seattle scoring more slowly than they did through 5 overs. The only difference is they don't have 3 batters already in the shed like the Lashings did 6 balls into their innings. Looking for that cutting edge, here comes Rajap. That one is scalded but stopped inside the circle. Kirsten Kalicharan, well done to get down to it. Just like every other bowler so far, Abhimanyu Rajap starts with a dot. That one definitely got some pad. Sudarshanam scampering down the wicket, but then coming straight back as the strong throw comes in from Hutchinson to the gloves of Ishak Zazai. Deep protection now at long on and at cow corner. And instead, he's going to try to go over the offside, but it's into the hands of Amir Hamza Hotak. Abhimanyu Rajap strikes in his first over. And there is that cutting edge that the Lashings hadn't had yet. But the pressure builds and finally shows. Abhinav Sudarshanam has to go with 1 run off 18 deliveries. We'll be seeing Lahiru Milantha to come out here to replace the lefty, but we see there as Abhimanyu Rajap followed Abhinav. Tried to give himself some room, and he bowled that right at where Abhinav's legs had been. Tried to inside out that to the offside where he had a little bit of space, but just couldn't get enough of it to get it over the ring. So it'll now be Ian Dev Chauhan partnering with Lahiru Milantha, keeping that lefty-righty combination going. For Abhimanyu Rajap, after taking 5 wickets last season, all of them in the middle overs, today he ends up with the last over of the power play and strikes to remove one of the openers. The only question here might be, how do you feel about removing that opener if you're going to take somebody who had managed just a single run off of 18 and replace him with the likes of Lahiru Milantha? They keep a slip in place here for the new lefty, Mayank Raghav. Actually a slip and a gully. Milantha faces his first ball and guides that to the offside. Dot delivery here. Mayank is your gully. Zahid Zakhail, your slip. Deep men remain at long on and at cow corner. Pooh. A lot of interest there from the assembled LA Lashings. To get a good look, we were pretty unsighted by all the extra fielders there. Oh my goodness, a ton of turn on that. This wicket has been an absolute playground for spin bowlers so far today. Makes it all the more remarkable. It makes it all the more remarkable that only one wicket fell in the first innings to spin. First one falls in the second innings to spin, though, and it's a wicket maiden for Abhimanyu Rajap to close out the power play. LA Lashings were 22 for 3. Seattle Thunderbolts 15 for 1 through 6. Fielding restrictions released. It'll be Elmore Hutchinson continuing on from the Homestead Road end. Ian Dev Chauhan on strike as Lahira Milantha saw out 3 dot balls from Abhimanyu Rajap, one of which moved a good 2 feet off the deck. First delivery from Elmore Hutchinson worked to the offside behind. It's going to be a quick single run here, and we'll see how the Thunderbolts change tactics here. Worth noting, the only boundary so far of this second innings hit on the 4th ball bowled by Guyan Fernando, a 6 over long off. That accounting for, well, all but 10 of the runs that have been scored so far here through 6.1. That just the 4th single. We've had a pair of doubles as well, a wide and a bye. Oh, that one stays down on Lahira Milantha. Just manages to get the bat down to it. A big appeal, but certainly heard the willow. But a tough one to square up as we get a look at this from Elmore Hutchinson. Yeah, not Yorker length, but it came up to about where a Yorker usually does. This pitch is playing a bit of havoc with anyone that wants to try to express themselves on it. As we mentioned, not the first time we've seen that here in Santa Clara. Elmore goes pace off. Gets Chauhan to swing through that one. Ian Dev with 13, 1 each from Milantha and Sudarshanam off of a combined 22 balls faced. And 2 extras. That's what Seattle have managed to put together so far. LA Lashings, first stage of this innings and of this defense, they've gotten it done. Brings the bat down and runs it to the short third man. Deep protection by and large in front of Ian Dev Chauhan. Long on, long off. Mid-wicket, deep point. Interestingly, just 4 outside the circle, but I think the idea now is to starve those singles and keep applying the pressure. That's in the air. Coming over towards it is Guyan Fernando. It's going to fall in front of him, and in fact, it's Ahmed Hamza Hotak crossing over from long on. To obtain that. Three singles so far in the over. 1 ball left in this 7th. It'll be Lahiro Milanta to face it. Milanta, the 31-year-old from Kalutara, Sri Lanka. This is his 4th MILC team. Tries to guide that wide of Achilles Brown at 3rd. It'll be just far away enough to run another single. 4 off the over. Highest scoring over since the 4th. Seattle 19 for 1. Milanta will retain the strike, and after dismissing 1 left-handed batter, Abhimanyu Rajap will stay on at the schoolhouse end to see what he can do about the next one. We were mentioning before, Milanta now playing with his 4th MILC team. It's his 2nd time out here in the Western Division. He was with Silicon Valley Strikers 2 seasons ago. Last year plied his trade in the Central with the Houston Hurricanes, and before that was a Morrisville Raptor. First delivery from Abi. Worked to that vacant area in front of the deep, long-on fielder. A single to get started. Only the 3rd over so far in the encounter that has started with a run off the first ball. And in fact, worth noting, I believe also only the 3rd one that started with a run off of either of the first 2 deliveries. So you can get a sense of how this pressure has been building. Here comes Abhimanyu. Flattens that one out, and it's hoiked over the shoulder of Ian Devchauhan, and that will break a lengthy drought in boundaries as that one gets over at a very, very fine leg. Ian Devchauhan responsible for both boundaries so far in the encounter. They come very nearly 42 balls apart. Actually, an even 40. At the 44th delivery of the encounter, his 6 came on the 4th. Good comeback ball there from Abhimanyu Rajap. Abhimanyu, 39-year-old, originally from Ludhiana, Punjab. That one is hoiked, but Achilles Brown in position. Just a single there. Abhimanyu played in the Under-19 World Cup back in 2006 and has represented the United States. 10 wickets at about 22 runs per and a 7.55 economy. He and Deepak Gosain, the guides of this LA Lashings organization. Another dot as that runs to Mayank Raghav. Final delivery of the 8th. Bit on the full side, but unable to dig it out. 6 runs from it. First boundary in 40 balls for the Seattle Thunderbolts. 25 for 1 through 8. Elmore Hutchinson is going to bowl a third over on the trot from the Homestead Road end. Lahira Milantha on strike as the Seattle Thunderbolts look to get themselves out of the mud. At the moment, they have 2 more wickets in hand than the Lashings did at this juncture, but they are 3 runs behind their pace. That one shot straight back. What a catch! Elmore Hutchinson one-hands the comebacker. A second wicket down, and it's the captain, Ian Dev Chauhan, dismissed in spectacular fashion by Elmore Hutchinson. My goodness, the big paw reaches out, and it's not even like it hit the best part of his hand. If I'm seeing that correctly, it looks like it hit kind of the meaty part of the thumb pad and then gets out into the fingers. That is unreal from Elmore Hutchinson. He takes his first wicket of 2025. And it's now got Seattle and LA looking like they're almost exactly on level terms through 8 overs and 1 ball. So Ian Dev into the shed. He departs with 19 off 23, and it's going to be Shashwat Kohli in at 4. 25 for 2, and at least through 8 overs and 1 ball, LA Lashings have done everything you need to. They've bowled tight lines, they've bowled good lengths, they've cramped the batters for style, they've applied pressure. And when the chances have come in the field, boy, have they taken them. Amir Hamza Hotak with a fantastic backpedaling snag to claim the wicket of Abhinav Sudarshanam. That wicket, of course, credited in the bowling column to Abhimanyu Rajap. This one, all Elmore, caught and bowled. Here's another one that stays down, hits that part of the deck that appears to not be providing the kind of bounce you're hoping for as a batter. Another dot delivery here. Elmore so far has given up 5 singles and a wide, and now taken a wicket. He and Amir Hamza with a brief chat. That one worked to the offside. No run there either for Shashwat Kohli. And a remarkably aggressive field right now for the LA Lashings. The ball's not really coming out to the boundary rope a ton. If I am seeing this correctly, and I encourage someone to correct me if I'm not, but one deep man. It's Abhimanyu Rajap at deep square leg. Everybody else inside the circle for the LA Lashings. They are lurking, they are hunting. That one worked wide of Achilles Brown in that square leg area, and that'll be the first run for Shashwat Kohli, who gets things underway, the 28-year-old from New Delhi. Shashwat finally getting a bit of a foothold here in MILC. In 2023, struggled to keep the run rate up, although that's an understandable thing when you play most of your games up in Seattle. Run rates tend to be a little bit slower there. But he was a run-a-ball in the middle overs in 2023, and last season went at a 123 strike rate, 20.8 average. It's a very willing runner in the middle overs. Speak of the devil, not able to make the clean pickup is Guyan Fernando. And another single there. Last season in the middle overs, a strike rate of 132. That in part because his non-boundary strike rate, so basically exclude all the fours, all the sixes, went from 50, so you take a run every 2 balls, to 76 in 2024. A little more comfortable trying to exchange the strike. He's done that the last 2 deliveries. He'll face the last one of this 9th over. And that'll be a dot to finish. 2 runs and a wicket off of Elmore Hutchinson's third. He's got taken 1 for 8 in his 3. Seattle Thunderbolts, 27 for 2 through 9. Take the opportunity here as Zahid Zakhail gets ready to begin his spell, relieving Abhimanyu Rajap and providing a little more lefty spin from the schoolhouse end. We'll tell you a little bit about that Santa Clara game that we were discussing earlier, the low-scoring thriller last season between the Strikers and the Blazers. In that one, the Strikers were bowled out with still 16 balls left in the kitty for just 96 runs. And they managed to string that one out. They took 7 of East Bay's wickets. And really the only reason the Blazers managed to win that game is because they survived to face more balls than the Strikers did. They needed 4 more deliveries to get themselves to that 101 and take the victory. But preserving just those last 3 wickets and bringing about a partnership between Aditya Ganesh and some of the late order tail batters, they were able to get it done. And a correction here, we had a false alarm. No change of bowlers over at the schoolhouse end. It's going to be Abhimanyu Rajap continuing. And that is the stumps blown up and the afternoon over for Lahiru Milantha. I was about to say, why not keep Abhimanyu Rajap going on here? 6 runs and a wicket maiden so far. This time around goes with a little bit of off spin. That might have been targeting leg stump, but spins its way back to off. Hard to draw it up any better than that. And Abhimanyu has now got Seattle 3 wickets down. And don't look now, but at this point in the innings, LA Lashings were 29 for 3. And 1 ball later, they were 35 for 3, because that was when Kirsten Kalicharan got one of his 2 sixes. So it's going to be Sujit Nayak coming in now. Milantha departing with 4 off 10. And for Sujit Nayak, he was a big part of what made this engine go last season. Of his teammates, only Reuben Clinton scored more runs than he did. 354 total runs at a 151 strike rate and a 59 average. First delivery to him from Rajap is a dot. He was 5th in the MILC in runs, 8th in average, 9th in sixes, and had 350s and 84 not out against San Diego. Oh my goodness gracious, the spin on that one puts Nayak to the deck, and he's lucky he didn't make contact with it. Ishak Zazai had that one thump into the pads, but extravagant turn. Oh my goodness gracious. Digs that one out, but another dot delivery. 3 of them following the wicket taken. Starting to say, though, an 84 not out for Nyack against San Diego, 51 against LA last season, and a 78 not out against the Somerset Cavaliers in the Super 8s. That one batted straight back to Abhimanyu Rajap on a hop. And I'm just going to be quiet because I don't want to jinx it. That one pops up. And it is going to be a dot to finish off the over. I avoided the jinx. That is the second wicket maiden of the day for Abhimanyu Rajap, and the fourth we've seen on this Santa Clara pitch. Sinchi Siegerts and Shadley van Skalkvik had a couple of them in the first innings. It's been all LA Lashings here in the first half of the run chase. 10 overs gone, 27 for 3, time for a drink. Through 10 overs, LA Lashings were 37 for 3. They have got the Seattle Thunderbolts at 27 for 3. It is a low-scoring thriller thus far. The Lashings have done everything that they could have asked for to this point. They have taken wickets, and they have limited the scoring and have allowed just 2 boundaries out of the first 60 balls. It's going to be Achilles Brown, who's just practicing his run-up at the moment, starting the second half of this run chase from the Homestead Road end. To recap what we've seen so far, as I said, 2 boundary shots thus far, both from Ian Dev Chauhan, a 4 off of Abhimanyu Rajap and a 6 off of Guyan Fernando back in the first over. Besides those 2 shots, they've scored 17 runs. They lose Abhinav Sudarshanam 1 off 18 to Abhimanyu Rajap. They lose Lahiru Milanta 4 off 10. And Elmore Hutchinson with the spectacular caught and bowled. Here's another bit of pressing here, as we'll see if there's a change in strategy. Shashwat Kohli taking a single immediately. LA Lashings with a bit more in the way of deep protection, but still operating almost like they're in the power play. It appears to be 2 deep men. Against the lefty batter Sujit Nayak. That's Mayank Raghav at long on just in front of us. And a deep man at mid-wicket. That one's in the air. Mayank Raghav is going to chase, but that is going to be just a bit too straight. And just a bit too handsome. So we had mentioned just two boundary shots in the encounter until now. A bit on the full side, and Sujit Nayak says, I will take that half volley and golf it right back over your head. That gets Nayak off the mark on the 6th delivery he faces. Brown looking for the comeback. And another one that absolutely plays havoc with everybody. That's going to end up being a bye, and we're going to have to check on the condition of Ishak Zazai. It first took an unpredictable bounce off the turf, stayed down, just nearly kissed off stump, and then bounced way up on the wicketkeeper. He is at least upright and to his knees here. We saw, unclear whether it was an impact that knocked his glasses off or just the recoil as he looked to avoid that. Take one more look. Oh, goodness gracious. No, it got him right in the side of the head. Oh, dear heavens. That is an impact. Not the first time here in the Bay Area that we've seen a wicket-keeper getting a little beaten up back behind the stumps. I recall a game back in 2022 where I introduced Rahul Jadiwala opening a run chase as the collection of cricket ball-shaped bruises that we call Rahul Jadiwala. Not an uncommon thing for him if you want to take a look at what he's up to later on today. San Ramon Grizzlies are just underway in their match against the Silicon Valley Strikers. Bit of a grudge match for Rahul. Played his first 3 seasons with Silicon Valley, now in his 2nd season and first as captain with San Ramon. Ishak back to his feet. Maybe bringing him a fresh pair of sunglasses to replace the ones that may well have given up the ghost. Stiff breeze comes to us here in the comms area. Generally speaking, that breeze is blowing left to right across the pitch. If you are viewing from the Homestead Road end that Achilles Brown is currently bowling from. So Ishak has the hat back on, getting the gloves back on. Training staff and other LA Lashings back off the field. We're just about ready to get underway. An eventful first 3 deliveries of Achilles Brown's tenure here in the Western Division. Woof! A little bit of cut, as that ball seemed destined to be a wide and then nipped back aggressively to stay inside the tram line. Achilles Brown, the 20-year-old from Philadelphia. 5 wickets 2 seasons ago for Fort Lauderdale Lions, an economy of 7. Bowled just 1 over last season. That one shot just barely under the reach of Elmore Hutchinson at fine leg. It's not quite going to reach the boundary rope. They will take 2. May have thought about a 3rd, but the strong throw is in from the Jamaican. Two runs off of that. I believe with that now the highest scoring over so far of the run chase, as they've now got 8, 7 off the bat plus the bye. That one tapped, and it's an aggressive run taken. Sujit Nayak off like a shot well before Shashwat Kohli took off. But certainly Sujit the one running to what would have been the danger end. A single to finish that over. A little bit of everything. 2 singles, a double, a 4, a bye, and a dot. And of course a short injury delay, but Ishak Zazai will continue onward. Seattle Thunderbolts, 36 for 3. We had the false alarm the last over from the schoolhouse end. This time we are relatively sure it is Zahid Zakhail who will bowl his first over of 2025. Left arm orthodox spin. Last 2 seasons with St. Louis, 6 wickets at about 35 runs per. Economy of 8.26. Bowls most of his overs in the middle, and that's roughly what his economy is there. Tends to mostly take out right-handers, so this may be a move to try to dismiss, well, either of these guys, I should say, but Shashwat Kohli in particular. Mostly has taken his wickets at the death, though, in the last 2 seasons. The switch hit here from Sujit Nayak. And that one is swept right into the hands of Elmore Hutchinson. The change at the schoolhouse end works, not like the bowler that was at that end wasn't working. But Zahid Zakhail on his second delivery as an LA Lashing has struck, and he takes out Shashwat Kohli. We said beforehand, 5 of the 6 dismissals the last 2 years for Zakhail had been against righties. Kohli gets out the reverse paddle sweep and just scoops it up in the air. Easy, easy take for Elmore Hutchinson. So with that, Kohli will have to depart for 5 off 10. 36 for 4 now. At this point, it was 43 for 4 for LA Lashings in their innings. We're approaching the point now where it's not really so much about tracing what happened in the prior innings and more just simply about, is anyone going to stand up and take charge of this chase for the Seattle Thunderbolts? It's going to be the newcomer, Matt Hennig, coming in at 6. And much like LA Lashings seemed to wait quite a while to deploy Elmore, who is usually their finisher, it seems like the Seattle Thunderbolts are trying to do the same with Shadley van Skalkvik. That one may have taken a touch, but that's not given by the umpire at the top of the crease. Hennig had not drifted out of his crease, so the square leg umpire not interested in the stumping, no matter how loud Ishak Zazai yells. Reassembling the furniture here for a moment. Take a look at that. Definitely evaded the back, or the outside edge, rather. That one's drifting down leg, and that'll be worked back behind for a single, and Hennig off the mark. His first run in 2025 minor league cricket. Hennig spectacular with ball in hand in the first innings. Here in his debut, 1 for 11 from his 4 overs. Sujit Nayak, 4 off 7 so far. He was the one bowler that really traveled in that first innings, despite claiming the wicket of Amir Hamza Hotak. The only bowler that you might somewhat say has got a little something to atone for here with the bat. That one's going to pop up on Ishak. They'll scurry for the one. Nayak thinking about a second, but good quick work by the wicketkeeper. It'll just be a bye. Worth noting, with the 3 dots and the wicket taken at the beginning of this over by Zahid Zakhail, for the first time in this run chase, the asking rate up to a run a ball, which feels like a mountain at this point. That one's in the air. It's going to get through the man on the infield, and a jump throw is not going to be in time as it goes to the non-striker's end. Hennig with a single to finish. 2 of those and a bye. But the wicket of Shashwat Kohli falling in the 12th over. Seattle 39 for 4. 48 needed off 48 to win. Perhaps predicting that an attempt to up the tempo is in the offing here with 8 overs remaining and needing to go at a run a ball. Much more deep protection as we start over number 13 with Amir Hamza Hotak taking a change of ends. Bowled his first 2 from the schoolhouse end, gave up 5 runs. A dot on his first here from the Homestead Road end. Working it on the pads, and it's caught on the deflection. The appeal. No deflection. Not given by Ganesh Sanup. Let's see if the replay has anything to tell us. Certainly a ton of turn. It does look from the replay that the sound we heard most likely was the top of the pad. Matt Hennig certainly in a little bit of trouble there. That one is going to go down the leg stump line. We'll see if that is a leg bye, or no, it's a wide. It's a leg side wide, and they will take an extra run to go along with it. Thought that might have still qualified as a legal delivery if Hennig had stepped far enough across his stumps, but apparently not. That'll bring Sujit Nayak on strike. An explosive batter last season off spin. First delivery, though, a good tight line, rises right up to the inside of his thigh pad, a dot delivery. Nayak last season, though, a 154 strike rate against spin of all kinds, as that one is struck to the offside. In from long off is Elmore Hutchinson, a single for Sujit Nayak. Last season, lefty pace was the thing to dismiss him quickly if you wanted. Lashings don't have a ton of that left, though. I believe just 1 more over of Elmore Hutchinson. Another single right back to Hutchie, speak of the devil. I'm sorry, my mistake. I'm looking at the wrong column. He was not the 154 strike rate against pace. He was steady against spin for the most part. We're going to stay off those stats for just a second because I apparently can't read. Single worked back behind square off Hotak, 3 of those on the trot to finish off the over. Seattle through 13, 44 for 4. 43 required off 42. 7 overs to go here, and it looks like we will see the final over of Abhimanyu Rajap from the schoolhouse end. It has been a phenomenal spell. Gave up 6 runs in his second over, that sandwiched by a pair of wicket maidens. He'll be facing off with Hennig. Correction, Sujit Nayak. First delivery right back over Abhi's head. And that will go for 4. Haven't been many of these in today's encounter. Sujit Nayak with his second. Chowan had a 4 and a 6 that were 40 balls apart. Seattle Thunderbolts are going to need a bit of that. In theory, they could go at a run a ball from here to the finish, but that has proved very challenging to keep up. No footwork on that one, as Rajap, I assume, we'll see on the replay, getting a bit more of that extravagant turn, as Nayak looked like he was going to try and give himself some room and then immediately was reaching out. Here's a little more of that. This time he does make contact and a bit of a misfield on the infield. Hotak not able to hold on to it. They'll just hold it to a single, though. You can see there, that one may well have been a wide if he hadn't swung at it. That one's just under the dive, trying to keep it on the infield from Kirsten Kalicharan. Correction, Mayank Raghav. And now with the lefty back on strike, 11 off 14 so far for Sujit Nayak. Pushes that one to the offside. The ball following Mayank Raghav at the moment. Another single. That brings up the 50 for the Seattle Thunderbolts. They do that at 13.4. Correction, 13.5. And so as a result, that is exactly 2 balls earlier than the LA Lashings did. Hennig, this time stopped on the infield and a dot to finish off. So for Abhimanyu Rajap, 2 for 13, his figures in his 4-over spell. Seattle Thunderbolts back to needing a run a ball, 36 off 36, 51 for 4 through 14. Amar Hamza Hotak back in. This will be his final over of the encounter as well. Bowled his first 2 from the schoolhouse end in the power play. 2 since then have been from this end on the trot. First delivery is raked through a gap on the onside. Deep man Guy and Fernando will get it back in. Changes here with the righty-lefty combination. Deep protection all in front of Hennig. Point mid-wicket, long on, long off. That one stays down for Amar Hamza Hotak as he flattens it out. Dot delivery. Love nothing more than to keep Matt Hennig at this end of the pitch. That one hits pad, likely going down leg, and he will take what sounded an awful lot like a leg by, and indeed is. So when I misspoke before, Sujit Nayak, a 126 strike rate overall against spin, but 193 last year against lefties. So this, an intriguing matchup. Nayak will like it. We'll see if Ahmed Hamza can bait him anyway. And he's blown up the stumps! There it is! Ahmed Hamza Hotak has his man! And Sujit Nayak will depart with 13 off of 17 deliveries. Hurried that one on, no flight at all, and just a little bit of inward turn takes the inside edge and cannons off of Nayak's bat onto off stump. Ahmed Hamza Hotak has his first wicket in about 2 years in MILC after sitting out the 2024 season. And it is a big fish here. Sujit Nayak, one of the top scorers in the league in 2024. Gone for 13. Seattle, 53 for 5. Los Angeles Lashings have got to feel pretty good about their chances of pulling a rabbit out of the hat here in Santa Clara today. In at 7, Shadley van Skalkvik. Nayak was a big fish. Shadley, depending on the season, arguably a bigger fish. Utterly crucial to the success of this team in 2023. They stick with the righty-lefty combination. Ahmed Hamza will bowl his first, and an attempt at a scoop over his shoulder there goes for naught. One last ball here in Ahmed Hamza Hotak's first spell as an LA Lashing. Defended, claimed by Ahmed Hamza Hotak, and he will finish his spell with figures of 1 for 11. The two spinners, Rajab and Ahmed Hamza, doing hard work here for the LA Lashings. They've certainly done their piece. We enter the death overs. Seattle 53 for 5. They need 34 off 30. Back to Zahid Zakhael, who took the wicket of Shashwat Kohli in his first over of work. He resumes from the schoolhouse end, and he will have a slip in place in Mayank Raghav as he digs in to face Hennig. With Shadley van Skalkvik at the other end, the main thing you'd like to avoid is feeding him too much in the way of righty pace. But it's Hennig on strike for the first delivery from Zakhael. He'll work that to long on for a single. In 2023, Shadley a 161 strike rate against righty pace. He was between 95 and 120 against everything else. He is in, though, at the time that he generally likes to be, and he's somebody who could get those 33 runs very quickly, albeit on a field other than Santa Clara. He'll run that one back to the side of the wicketkeeper. It's just going to be the one. Good hard running from the 22-year-old Afghan wicketkeeper, Ishaq Zazai. Encouragement coming from beyond the ropes. At the moment, most of the Seattle Thunderbolts are standing at what would presently be a third-man position. LA Lashings, of course, mostly out here on the field. That one's going to climb on Matt Hennig. Unable to do much with it. A dot ball here after the two singles. Targeting the pads. That one ladled just wide of Kirsten Kalicharan at mid-off. That'll be a single for him. 2 balls left in the over here. Shadley van Skalkvik just off the mark with that single to start. If you take a look at what the Lashings have left for the final 5 overs, they've got 1 more left of Elmore Hutchinson, 2 remaining of Guyan Fernando, and as much Zahid Zakhail and Achilles Brown as you can eat. That one run over to Mayank Raghav at backward point. No run there. A spinner's paradise today. Wouldn't surprise us to see a good bit more of Zahid Zakhail down the stretch. This one run very, very fine leg. Chased down nicely there by Aryan Chowdhury. And that will take care of the over. 4 singles from it. Seattle Thunderbolts 57 for the loss of 5. We take a look at where things were at this point for LA Lashings. They were 69 for 5 with 4 overs to go. Good position here for the men in purple and gold. Captain Kirsten Kalicharan will bowl out Elmore Hutchinson here. Hutchie last year, lethal at the death, a 10.8 strike rate. The only problem was his economy was almost as high, 10.11. If they can take the wicket of Shadley van Skalkvik, they'll feel very, very good about the decision. If Elmore travels a little bit here, it could be curtains. 30 needed off 24. Here comes the first of Hutchinson's last over. Straight back by Hutchinson stumps. Amir Hamza and Mayank Raghav converge to claim that ball. Just a single from it. Hennig on strike, 6 off 13 so far for him. Seattle Thunderbolts 1-1 all-time here in Santa Clara. They played their last 2 games of the 2023 season here and split a pair against the Golden State Grizzlies, now the San Ramon Grizzlies. They needed to sweep those 2 in order to make the playoffs that year and did not. They're coming off a playoff qualification in 24, and 3 hours ago it looked like they were well on their way to a positive start to that. Off pace from Elmore. That sneaks by Hennig. It's the man at the non-striker's end, Shadley van Skalkvik. It seemed to get Seattle off to the best start you could imagine, a triple wicket maiden. Will it be for naught? 22 balls left to find out. Seattle need 29 from him. That one stung just past Shadley van Skalkvik. Mayank at a deep long off. Up to it. Another single. And at this point, Seattle Thunderbolts can no longer be contented with that. The asking rate up to 8s. An asking rate up to 8s on a day when LA couldn't even manage 4.5. Almost the exact same spot from Shadley van Skalkvik. Another single. If you're looking for Nelsons, Hutchinson now 1 for 11 on the day with 2 balls left in his spell. That one gets pad, but it's well down leg. A dive will not avoid the leg by, but it will restrict Seattle to just one of them. Fantastic bowling and fielding today from LA Lashings. The batting performance seemed to leave quite a bit to be desired. But as we said just before the innings break, you never quite know what you're dealing with in a pitch until you've seen both teams bat on it, and Seattle having even more trouble than the Lashings did. A bit on the short side from Elmore, and that one is lashed to long off. And that, the final delivery of Hutchie's spell, 1 for 12 from Elmore Hutchinson. Seattle Thunderbolts 62 for 5. They need 25 off the final 3 overs. On a day like today, who could blame you for bowling as much spin as you possibly can? Zahid Sakhail will bowl his 3rd over from the schoolhouse end. And he will face off with Shadley van Skalkwijk to begin with. Swing and a miss. All manner of variable bounce on this pitch as the LA Lashings have crowded things in again. All of your protection now is on the onside, and Skalkwick's going to challenge it, but it's going to fall in front of Hutchinson and takes a wicked bounce. He was trying to pull up and get himself behind that ball, and it looks like it had a ton of English on it. A much-needed boundary for the Seattle Thunderbolts. Zahid trying to get van Skalkwijk to target the big side of the ground where all the deep defenders are. Now van Skalkwijk looking to be a switch hitter. No dice. But he will scamper to the other end and pick up a single. Leg by officially. Always a funny thing to say when it ostensibly came off the shoulder. But in cricket, if it's your body, it's a leg. Hennig on strike, 7 off 16 so far for him. 20 now required off 15 balls remaining. Zakhail may well bowl 9 of them. This one worked to the onside. Enough time to take the quick single. Shadley back on strike, and the deep protection goes back out to the boundary on the onside. Backward square. Mid-wicket. Long on, and cow corner. All the protection over on that side. You see why Shadley tried the switch hit on the last one. Does he want it again? Gone! Zahid Zakhail takes a little bit off. Gets van Skalkwijk to throw the shot early. And that is the other big fish gone here. A little bit of purchase Might have been on a fourth stump line out of the hand, but straightens up and hits middle stump about 2/3 of the way up. 68 for 6. Shadley van Schalkwyk departs. And LA Lashings are 13 balls away from getting a remarkable defense potentially done here in Santa Clara. Rishabh Mohan is going to step out to replace Shadley at the crease. Van Schalkwyk with 9 off 12. He's the third leading scorer for the Seattle Thunderbolts today. That tells you how their day's gone. In fact, notably, he's their third leading scorer, tied with extras. That 15-run partnership, second highest on the day for Seattle as well. They had 17 runs for the fifth wicket, and the opening partnership went for 15 before Abhinav Sudarshanam became Abhimanyu Rajab's first victim. The big lefty, Rishabh Mohan, is going to face the final delivery from Zakhael in this third over of his. And that one may have been banged off of Mohan's foot. But luckily for him, that inside edge carries wide of the stumps. It will be a single. He will retain the strike as we go to the penultimate over. We'll take a quick look at that. Indeed, looks like it got the back of his, got his back leg after the inside edge. A lucky break for Seattle Thunderbolts. With 2 overs remaining, they are 69 for 6. $18 required off the final 12 deliveries for victory today for the Seattle Thunderbolts. LA Lashings have strung this one out as far as anyone might have dreamed when they finished their first innings on 87 runs. It's going to be Guyan Fernando to bowl the final over from this end. He bowled his first 2 from this end as well. He bowled 10 dots, gave up 1 single and a 6 to Ian Devchauhan. There has been exactly 1 6 since. Another one that stays down, but it pops up on Ishak Zazai, and that is going to be a bye. And at this point, at least, you can't turn those down if you're Rishabh Mohan. But it's now 17 required off 11. Fernando, lethal at the death in 2023. When he had a 6.8 strike rate in the death overs. Last year, not so much. That ball is up, though. Opportunity knocking. Zakhael on the run. So is Long On. And neither one's going to get there. It'll be a pair of runs as that ball was in the sky for ages. 2 for Matt Hennig, but it was Zakhael coming in from long off. Amir Hamza coming in from long on. And slightly overrun. You may recall, I believe Matt Hennig dropped the ball from almost exactly that position, and it may have been what kept Amir Hamza in the game. That might have been Kirsten. Either way, a little bit of symmetry here late in this piece. 15 needed off 10. That is connected with, but it's straight down the throat of Ahmed Hamza Hotak. And that is the end of the day for Matt Hennig, just after he got into double figures. We mentioned Guyan Fernando, slammed last season at the death, bowled 7 overs there, took 1 wicket, and coughed up nearly 14 runs and over. This looks a little more like 2023 Guyan Fernando. And that is a wicket that could well be the death knell. Seattle Thunderbolts now at 72 for the loss of 7. They have left in the shed Ritish Mohindru, Sinchi Sigerts, and Rahul Nama. And the one who's come out appears to be Rahul Nama, the number 5. Nama faced just a single ball in 2024. It came against LA. He did not score off of it. Had 11 off 15 without getting dismissed in 3 innings in 2023. Had a lovely innings with ball in hand. Economical, if not particularly surgical. Did not dismiss anyone, but kept things tight, and his pressure was benefited from by his fellow bowlers. He and Rishabh Mohan looking to get it done. Another one that stays down. The dots at this point worth their weight in gold. 15 required off 8. That one run to the offside, looking to see if they can get the run out. No signal from the square leg umpire. Rishabh Mohan apparently in safely. We'll take a look at the replay and see if we agree. Oh, that is not a good call. I'm not sure Rishabh had his bat grounded. Ooh, boy. We'll see if that winds up mattering down the stretch. Take one more look at it here. Maybe I'm seeing something. Maybe the ball wasn't collected clean, but that sure looks like he's short of his ground. Back to live. Inside-out shot. This one in the air. Hotak again makes the catch. The 8th wicket is down. Fernando strikes for 2 in the penultimate over. And the men in purple and gold are swarming one of their 8 debutants today, as one of the others takes his 2nd wicket of the over. 2 for 10, that will be the end of Guyan Fernando's spell, as there's just a single over left. We take a look here at the replay. It's just a celebration replay, but if you're a Lashings fan, that's a fun one to see. And so it's 6 balls remaining, 14 required. And it's going to be Sinchi Sigerts and Rahul Nama to try to get it when we come back. Zahid Zakhail gets over number 20. 14 to protect. Rahul Nama will be on strike. Sinchi Sigerts, the new batter, at the other end. Just one name left in the shed, and it's the youngster on debut, Ritish Mohindru. Zakhail so far 2 for 12 off his 3. Ahmed Hamza Hotak was 1 for 11 off his 4 and now has 2 catches to go along with it. Excuse me, three catches, because he took the first wicket as well. First delivery, a swing and a miss, but it's a wide. Free run and another ball to face. That one going down the leg side, hits the pad, and he's gone! Given by Suyog Patil. And wicket number 9 has fallen, and Zahid Zakhail Just needs to get another 4 legal deliveries in and not go for big runs or potentially one more beautiful piece of cricket. We'll take one more look at this. No problems with impact. That, if there's any concern, it's height. A little up over the knee roll. Nama pretty deep in his crease, but that may be a concern. But either way, it's 74 for 9. Zahid Zakhael strikes for his third. We mentioned before that he generally took his wickets at the death. In 2023 and 24 with the St. Louis Americans. He's got a chance to bring this one to an end right here against Ritish Mohindru. Mohindru reaches out. They'll look to take the quick single. Chowdhury up with it. But right now, a 1 is something that the Lashings feel they can deal with. 4 balls left, 12 required. Just 1 wicket left in hand. Siegert's about to face his first delivery. That one pops up a ton of purchase off the surface. Been saying that pretty much from the get-go today. The spinners have gotten it done. 12 needed off 3. That one's in the air. Could be catching practice. It is! And the LA Lashings have defended 86 runs and won today by 11. Zahid Zakhael take a bow. He takes 4 wickets for 14 runs off 3.4. Cleans up the Seattle tail. And who saw this coming 2 hours ago? We mentioned the propensity for low-scoring thrillers here at Santa Clara. This might be the lowest-scoring, thrillingest of them all to this point. But behind that 4 for 14 from Zakhael, and let's not lose in the shuffle 2 for 13 from Abhimanyu Rajap, including a pair of wicket maidens, and Amar Hamza Hotak, 1 for 11 with ball in hand, but took 3 catches in the field in order to secure the 2 Guyan Fernando wickets there in the 19th over, as well as the first of the Abhimanyu Rajap wickets. Unbelievable stuff here. The Lashings go to 1-0 on the season. Seattle Thunderbolts start with a loss that they can't possibly have expected when they were sitting at 0 for 3 back at about 12:35 p.m. and in total control of the first innings. Taking a look at the scorecard, nobody gets past 20 for the Seattle Thunderbolts. 19 off 23 for Yandav Chauhan, 13 for Sujit Nayak, 10 off 19 for Matt Hennig. Not a single batter able to go at better than a run a ball. The only one that does go at a run a ball is Ritish Mohindru in at 11, 1 off 1. 11 extras in the innings at the third leading scorer for the Thunderbolts on a day where runs were incredibly tough to come by. Only Achilles Brown going at worse than a run a ball, 8 off of his lone over of work. Everybody else, though, coming up massive. Not a single economy over 4 for the rest of the bowlers, and 2 of them at 3 or under. 4 for 14 from Zahid Zakhael. Likely your man of the match, although spare a thought as well for Kirsten Kalicharan. Heaven knows, his innings earlier today of 34 off 42 looks utterly massive by the end of this. We take a look there at the final match summary. Kalicharan's 34 off 42. Amar Hamza Hotak, for that matter, 23 off 30. The wicket with ball in hand, the 3 catches. Got a couple of decent competitors here for player of the match today. Shadley van Schalkwyk started strong with those 3 wickets in the opening over, but Seattle could not find the cutting edge after that. And as it works out, LA Lashings went just quick enough for the remainder of that innings to give themselves a total to defend. They win by 11 runs today in their Western Conference opener. That'll be all for us here today from Santa Clara. And tomorrow we will see you after a bit of a drive up to the state capital area. As in Davis, California, we'll have more of these Seattle Thunderbolts. They will be facing a bit more of SoCal as they'll take on the San Diego Surf Riders for a doubleheader. That getting started at 10:30. And of course, we'll also have streams coming to you from the Strikers Cricket Ground, the Tadika Foundation ground in Morgan Hill. Hadi Venkatramani will be with you for that. LA Lashings will be in action that day, as well as the 3 Bay Area sides, San Ramon, Silicon Valley, and East Bay Blazers. Until then, for Vishal Tiku and Quick Live Productions, this is Joe Hickey, wishing you a happy rest of your day and hoping to see you back here on the MLC Network.